Everyone, a warm welcome to join the Sisu Talks. Today, we are joined by Aarti Sharma, imaging consultant. She is a recipient of Exceptional Women of Excellence Award by World Economic Forum. Hello, Aarti. Welcome to our show.
Thank you so much, Vijay and Prem, for inviting me here. And I'm very excited to answer all the queries and all the questions that you have regarding image management and executive presence. So, over to you.
Hi,
Thank you.
Aarti and Vijay. Thank you for
Hello, Prem.
joining.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Today, we are going to talk on the executive portrait, crafting a powerful image. Arti, being an imaging consultant, what exactly is executive presence?
So, executive presence, the word itself this term has the word presence in it. So, that simply means making your presence felt. So, executive presence is also sometimes used as we call it leadership presence. Vijay, you must have noticed that any leader, any successful leader, or any leader whom we follow, they all have some qualities which remain inherent, some which remain inherent to their personality. Their personality speaks loudly of their values which they believe in, and how to exhibit it is called executive presence. So that means how to make your presence felt. To elaborate it more, you must have noticed that some people, just by entry to a room, owns the energy of the room, and everyone in the room wants to be associated with them. And till then, they haven't even uttered a word. Now, that is the power of a magnetic personality. So, we use these words like charismatic personality, magnetic personality, executive presence, uh, crafting, confident image. All these words are used interchangeably. They have a little difference in the meaning, yet they all talk about the presence of a person that is being felt, the vibe, the aura that this person exhibits when he walks, when he talks, when he enters a room, the way he takes up space. All that is called executive presence.
Yeah, I have felt some aura when I look at the executives. Uh, yeah, I can relate that what you are talking about. Thank you for that insights, Arti. Uh, what are the various ingredients of executive presence?
Yes. So now that we understand that there are people who carry this personality which everyone wants to get connected to. So how to get that? So first thing that we need to know is what are the various ingredients of executive presence. So if I have to sum it up, I would say one, a powerful outer appearance. Your appearance, it plays a great role. If I ask you, then you would agree with me that the first thing that we notice in people is how they appear. What are the clothes that they are wearing? How well are they groomed? Are they looking cheerful or sad? The facial expressions. So all these things come under appearance. And you would agree with me that human beings are visual creatures. We listen through our eyes first and then through our ears. So that is why appearance is one ingredient that you need to be very, very mindful of. Second ingredient is your behavior, how you carry yourself, how you show calmness in difficult situations. Have you ever seen any leader who is not confident? Have you ever seen any leader who is not confident? Never. Leadership means knowing the way. Leadership means showing the way. So unless and until you are confident of how you carry yourself, how you are going to take care of a particular situation, how you are going to handle difficult situations, you cannot exhibit that leadership presence. So the second ingredient is your gravitas, how you stay calm in difficult situations, how you behave in difficult situations, because leadership means you have to be decisive. You cannot just all the time think about and ask people's opinion. You need to have that decisiveness in you, that how are you going to take it up. Of course, a leader listens to everybody, yet he must have that gravitas in him. And the third ingredient is communication. You all would agree that communication is the backbone of all relationships, whether personal or professional. So, how well do you communicate? How you are able to communicate assertively? How you are able to hold your anger? How you are able to address people from all walks of life? How you are able to network through communicating? How you are able to understand others, how you are able to listen to them. All that comes under communication. So, if I make it easy for everybody to remember, so A, B, and C: appearance, behavior, and communication. These three together create executive presence.
Wow,
Good.
simplified ABC to remember. Thank you, Aarti. Hello, Sunil. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Sunil. Welcome to the show. Uh, Great insight. ABCs, I had a different thought of ABCs. Now there's a new definition for ABCs. Okay, that's a great insight for me at least. Why is executive presence so important in the current era of business, Aarti? And how you've touched upon a few pointers, but how important is going to be for the executives to make their presence in various forums, like it is on for social media, or a live interaction, or any forum that they are part. How important is the executive presence for any individual or an
A
organization?
very relevant question, Prem. First of all, let me welcome Sunilji also. So,
Thank you so much.
Sunilji, thank you for joining in, and we are very happy that you have joined us today in
I
this
thank
episode.
Vijay also, but that was that's why that's when I was on mute. And Vijay, that highlighted the importance of communication.
Yes, let's hold from there only. So, how important is communication? Because through communication, we are able to tell others about our feelings, our thoughts, what we want to convey. And that is communication. However, uh, you might have noticed, in fact, you all must have heard this term quite often in our lives, that people say that, uh, you know, I spoke everything, I told them everything truthfully, I spoke from my heart, and yet people are not able to understand me. Now you see, communicating is not about just expressing yourself, but effective communication is about making others understand what you want them to understand. Now, Prem, as you asked that how important it is, now you see yourself. And if for an executive who is holding an important position in his professional life, how important it is to make his team understand the projects that they are allotted. How important it is that the team is able to decipher the instructions the way he wants the work to be done. How important it is that people speak highly about this person, about all the hard work, after all the hard work that he has put into his professional life. And if one doesn't get credit for that, how would you feel? And that is why it is extremely important to manage your image. It is extremely important to work on your executive presence intently, so that people are able to understand what you want them to understand. For example, like you asked me about on social media, why is it important to create your presence? Even if we look at anybody's LinkedIn profile, now tell me truthfully, what is the first thing you pay attention to?
First thing is the photograph, I think.
That's it.
Appearance,
Yeah,
appearance.
so you look at the photograph, then it starts with the title. What is the title that he's putting? Whether he's putting his name correctly. And what I've seen or observed is the public profile URL will have a lot of numbers in it. So I've gone and spoken to many people saying that you need to be very specific on your LinkedIn public profile URL, at least, which does not have any numbers. So that one thing I would look, if you ask me what do you look at a profile. So there are certain elements that I take care while I see a person or how he puts it. So going to what you are saying is right. First is the photograph. Second is what is the title that he holds or which organization, and what is the experience that is there. After coming to LinkedIn events and stuff, what are his connections? That is one thing which goes in. The other thing is uh, we also look at what is that pointer that he's writing or he's talking in the public space. That's one thing that we look at. So this is what I looked at. Sir Sunil sir, you have any inputs?
Well, Prem, you have mentioned it very well. And as Aarti mentioned, of course, the first thing is his appearance. And very rightly, you both are saying what you do there is also shows how you want to be seen there on LinkedIn. And I also
Mhm.
believe in beauty lies in brevity. Some people
Okay.
write long paragraphs about themselves. So it's much better, as you also said, Prem, that succinctly, if you put it with numbers that make sense, and of course your credentials, if not
Yeah.
qualifications only, your credentials to be visible there, and what you are promoting yourself or your line of work, your credentials should be there.
Yes.
Very true. And I've got the answer that I was looking for. You all agree that first thing we look is at the picture. So be very mindful about putting your picture on the LinkedIn profile. In fact, on your WhatsApp DP as well, because gone are the days when we used only professional platforms. We talk to people in our professional life through WhatsApp as well. So
Yes.
wherever you are portraying yourself, whether it is Facebook, whether it is Instagram, your portrait should be in alignment with who you are. You
Right.
might like holidaying, partying, we all do. Yet, having a drink in your hand won't make a great DP even on WhatsApp.
Definitely.
So these
Uh,
are the things you must pay attention to, that how you are portraying yourself. What do you want people to talk about you?
yeah. Thanks for that, Sunil sir and Aarti. We've seen leaders nowadays, at specific being like Mahatma Gandhi, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates. They don't care about their appearance, whether it is an attire or car that they drive. Even if you look at Warren Buffett, the same story. He says a Cadillac is okay for an eight. I heard his biography where he says, "My car is an $8,000 car, and I don't want to spend anything, and it gives me comfort." So that's what I want. So how does that make a difference here when you talk about they not carrying a executive presence or appearance?
Prem, a very, very interesting question, and thank you for asking this, because so many times people get confused. There are many people who are doing exceptionally good work and they don't care about how they appear because they say, let my work speak for me.
Yeah.
I agree with this completely. But let me take the example that you have taken. Let's start with Mark Zuckerberg. Now, Mark Zuckerberg, he's the one who created that gray T-shirt or black T-shirt look for all the, all the techies. So, in fact, my own son, who's an environmental engineer and he's working at San Francisco, I remember during his, high school and college days, all he would wear was gray or black T-shirts. And if I would ask him that, why don't you wear something else? And he said, Mom, you know what? I don't pay attention to these things because they want to portray, they are more into their work. They want to give an impression that, I don't have time for all this outer appearance and this show. However, now you remember the time when Mark Zuckerberg visited India and he met Prime Minister Narendra Modi. If you have
Right.
seen the pictures, or if you remember, the newspaper was full of pictures of him shaking hands with Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a two-piece suit and a tie. He was no longer wearing that grey t-shirt and chappals, his slippers, his iconic slippers and grey t-shirt. He was wearing a proper suit. You know why? Because at that time he was no longer a techie. He
We have a question from Anup, and I brought that question here. How to manage wardrobe alignment to meeting importance and audience? So that's a question I brought it. Anup has asked it here, so that's on the screen, Aarti. So
Yes, yes, Anup, you are absolutely right. Because he meant business, because Mark Zuckerberg meant business, that's why he was in formals. And that is why it is extremely important to remember what is the role that you are playing and what is the goal that you have in your mind when you decide about your wardrobe choices. So, when his role was that of a techie, he wore whatever he wanted to wear, round neck t shirts and slippers. But when he meant business, he was in formals. So think about it, just taking idea from that. When you have an important meeting to attend, think about the people who you are going to meet there. Are these people your managers? Are they your top bosses, or are they clients from some other nationalities? Now you have to be very mindful of dressing when you are going to address these people. And there's a saying which is called, and that's one of my favorite quotes about image management, that is, dress how you want to be addressed,
Very
because
nice, very nice.
your clothes would dictate how people would react and respond to you.
Aarti, may I just ask or suggest something similar? So
Yeah, please.
I'm learning from what you all, and so I feel that sometimes even Mark Zuckerberg or someone like that is carefully casual. That casual look is also well designed. Like
Yes.
Ankur, like there's a great influencer, Ankur Warikoo, if you know. Of course, I mean everyone knows. He's again always in that T-shirt, but it's not a casually done thing. He wants to convey that image that he's, because that's a target audience also he's addressing. So when the target
Absolutely,
audience of the
Sunilji.
same person is the chief, is the prime minister of a great upcoming country, same Zuckerberg was in a different mode, and he's not a casual or I mean he's a very professional person. So that
On that,
casual also is very carefully casual.
yes. So on that note, I would say, so we talk about personal branding, very close to image management and executive presence. Now, here I would pick up what Sunilji has said, that you need to create your own brand story. What would be your brand story would definitely be your choice. And if you are not mindful of creating your own brand story, remember, people are carefree about creating a brand story about you.
exactly. So I had a quote somewhere saying is, if somebody want or you are going to meet somebody, uh, they see you at a 10 feet distance and they decide what to talk. So, so
Absolutely.
I saw that somewhere and I had put that in one of my good morning quotes in this one. People will talk to you the way you appear, as you rightly said just now, Aarti. It is
Dress how
more
you want
important
to be
that you
addressed.
present. And one conversation which I would like to bring up when I was part of Wipro, I was posted in the Middle East and I went to a project and the customer said, Prem, can you come with a formal attire? I didn't understand at that moment because I never used to wear a blazer. I used to be tucked in and just go as formal. Then he said, He was a Tamilian, so luckily I know I spoke in and I asked him what is the. He said you are representing the organization. So come to a customer location as a customer for me. So we both are doing business. So you come in a formal attire. Then I said, do you need a three piece or a coat is fine? So he said a coat is fine because when you meet the banks, this is one of the largest bank in the Middle East. Okay, and they were a wholesale bank, and they used to do funding for international roadways, airports, and stuffs like that. And they one transaction of theirs was equal to 100 transactions here in India, I think. So that big was the organization, and uh, that's where I learned not to go to office without a suit. Especially when I'm meeting a customer, I will not go without a suit. So that's the example, or that's the way I thought. That's where I learned so many things there. So
Yes.
image is one thing that you will have to carry, whether you like it or not. You represent yourself first and then the organization. So that's
I
the message
perfectly
I
agree
got
with
there.
that, Prem. I perfectly agree with that. You're honoring the organization or the forum. When you are going there, you're not going to a wedding party of your family. Your
Okay.
what you do there is showing also how you treat that forum or that event.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very well said, Prem. And I'm very happy that you learned this important lesson quite early in your
Yes.
career. In fact, uh, I would say, I have been fortunate enough to work with a CEO of a revered bank from UAE. And
Okay.
this CEO had his executive presence so very well placed that when he joined me, I was
Hmm.
wondering कि मैं इसको सिखाऊंगी क्या. He was so up to the point, and I said ये इन्होंने join क्यों किया है. His appearance was bang on, but when we opened up, when there was the diagnostic session, we realized that yes, there was a lot of work that was needed to be done around his communication. And that takes me to answer one of the questions also in the chat box. Like, somebody has asked, that image management is not limited to what you wear.
Yes. So I am bringing it up here.
Huh.
So Sunwant V says image management is not limited to what you wear, what you think, and how is it, and more. It is a perfect blend of each and everything. And he continues to say is that we need to understand whether CEO of Facebook or any big brand, they are usually seated when they are not working or on vacation. That's why they see casual look in the media. So that's a great thing. And what is your views is what Sunant is asking. So how do you want to take that, Aarti and Sunil sir?
So let me take up one question for first one, that it is not only about appearance, it is more about how you feel about it. And
Hmm.
I would say that when I talk about image management, it is not only your outer image,
Yeah.
it is your self image or inner image that reflects in your outer image. So if your inner image is not in alignment with your outer image, then the presentation would never be authentic, never ever. And unless your image is authentic, people will get to know, if
Yeah.
sooner or later, that this is not an authentic person. So if you want your executive presence to be bang on, then remember, portray those values, those qualities which are inherently yours. Let's suppose there are two people sitting in your office, and both of them are at exactly the same position or the same designation. However, there could be a huge difference in what values this person brings on the table and what values this person brings. And I generally give the example of Mahendra Singh Dhoni and Virat Kohli.
Hmm.
Let me ask all of you, if I say Mahendra Singh Dhoni, what is the first word that comes to in your mind, first adjective? Or
Very cool and collected in emergency situations also.
perfect. And if I talk about Virat Kohli, what comes to your mind immediately?
Aggressive.
Aggressive. Yes.
Bang on. Now see, they both are gems. They
Yes.
both are our own, are the honor of our country. and everybody loves them. And do you know why? Because both of them are absolutely authentic. And that shows not only in how they carry themselves, that shows on the field, that shows off the field. Their whole persona is all about, Singh Dhoni's persona is all about calmness, being captain cool, and Virat is all about being aggressive, being resilient. So these are the points that I want to communicate, that executive presence is not only about wearing a suit, it is expressing yourself through your appearance, through your behavior, and how you communicate about the values that you carry. And secondly, this should be in alignment with the role that you are playing, in alignment with your goals that you want to achieve. And of course, if you are the face of an organization, if you are working for a particular organization, so it should be in alignment with the vision and the goal of the company. So the story should be similar. The story should be in align, should be aligned.
Great insights there, Aarti. I have another question I'm bringing up on the screen. I have it from Georgi Needs, if I'm spelling it right. When we communicate, we need to try to connect with each other. When we connect with somebody else, you have an effective communication. The valid to all relationships. First, we have to try to understand, then we try to find the best from two. So that's the question I have. Your inputs, Sunil and Aarti.
Well, I don't know what tray means. Maybe he meant train. I don't know what tray means. I'm sorry.
Can I just hold a second. Can I try to bring him on call
Yeah.
while I'll take another question with Raghun. I think it is Raghu who's speaking. How can we simplify our image, showcase higher value to the audience? So that's another question. Meanwhile, I'll try to bring Georgie onto the line by sharing a link to him. Ati, over to you.
Yes. So, how can we simplify our image and showcase higher values in audience minds? A very good question, Raghunath ji. Now, again, how to simplify? The best is, again, the points which we talked about, that how it is related to your job position, how it is related to the people whom you work for. So, if you are able to create that, for example, if you are in a banking profession, so you need to be dressed formally. Let's suppose if you are in a creative field, maybe photography or marketing or maybe sales, uh, you, even in sales, you need to be professionally dressed. But let's suppose if you are in some other creative field, maybe some video editing or something, so then you can experiment with your looks. So, one thing that you must remember is that the industry to which you belong to, you should be able to do justice with that. For example, if you are a professional executive working for maybe banking or any formal positions, you can't experiment too much with loud colors and very very creative look. You might have that personal style which you can wear casually with your family, with your friends, but remember, you should be able to create the appearance, create that presence which is in alignment with the role that you are playing. And that is how it will remain in audience minds, because you don't want to have an undue presence. You don't want to be that that eyesore in the office. And I would say, like, sometimes then when you dress up too loud, people, that takes people's focus away from the important points. So that also you need to put in mind.
I think we have Soumik Banerjee who is part of the. Welcome to the show, Soumik. Uh,
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
yes, sir.
Aarti, may I just ask, in fact, again, add or suggest one more point, and I value that a lot. In fact, you very rightly said which kind of setup you're representing and what kind of forum you are in. Something very different is done by some very successful Japanese manufacturing companies like Maruti Suzuki and all, where the MD also goes to the shop floor in the same dress as the workers. He eats in the same mess, in the same dress, and sits on the same table because there he is trying to do a very different thing. He's trying to establish this belongingness, and that I'm with you, I'm like you, I'm like one of you. I mean, obviously, if he would go to a fund manager or an industry minister, he'll be wearing different things. But that's again a very carefully done attire.
Absolutely, Sunilji. And as you told me that it is a Japanese company. Now think about the place that you are working. Now, if we talk about India, in India, we all respect hierarchy to another level. Even today. Even today, when we go for trainings, and I, being a mentor, I train CEOs and top executives, and still there are places where I need to address people by saying sir. And then, of course, again, you cannot just jump the hierarchy, at least in India, as of now.
Right.
As you talked about Japan, so they have a different culture. And as the whole globe, the whole world has become a global village now, so and we are working with clients from various countries across the globe, so you need not only clients but also employees from all different countries. So you must have some idea, or you must research about the culture of that country when you decide about the image that you want to carry, and when you decide about your behavior. So this all is quite deep and related to from where this person is coming and what is his goal.
Yeah, exactly. It's respecting the forum and respecting the place you're in. Like the old quotation is there, in behave as Romans, in Rome, behave as Romans do. If you're there in their setup, then you should really, you're very right, you should know their etiquette, what kind of etiquette is required. Maybe in China and Japan, you have to bow to each other, and maybe in some other place. It's just being a very considerate and cultured person to take, to give respect to that setting.
Absolutely.
Aarti, yeah, I think you need to give Sunant the link. I've shared it with you. You can give it to him. He'll join. I can add him here. There's another question which is popping on the screen, Aarti. What do you think PM Modi's attire customizes to the states he visited?
Yes.
So that's a question that's come up.
Yes, so Sugant is asking this question, and Sugant, as I know, and I would like you all to know about him. He's an incredible young man who's studied at Wharton University, and right now, what he has many feathers in his hat, and one interesting thing which he does is talk about Indian scriptures and use the ideas of Indian scriptures for training people on leadership. So, Sugant, I would love to talk about our Prime Minister Narendra Modi because he's a textbook case of image management. Think about Mr. Modi when he was Gujarat's chief minister, then how he refined himself to become India's prime minister. Of course, all the inner work I'm not talking about. Let's talk about just his outer appearance. Then, at every new threshold, it was all about stepping up his image to meet the requirements of the next level. And today, he's a world leader. And it's his image that has transformed not only his own image, but the image of the entire country.
Absolutely.
So you see, if you are representing an organization, if you are representing a country, even if you are representing a department, that means you hold the responsibility on your shoulders, that how you portray to the to others, that what values do you bring. And Sugant and all others, do you know that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has a huge team of image consultants?
Hey, welcome, Sugant, to the show. Thanks for being here. Aarti, Sugant, you would like to comment? Aarti asked you something. You are not audible, Sugant.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Yes. Namaskar to everyone.
Namaskar.
Namaskar, Sugant.
So yeah, as I was talking about, Prime Minister Modi, when he's visiting the different states, he always caters his attire to that particular state. So when he's meeting with international leaders, he wears a safari coat and suit. When he comes to Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, the southern states, he wears a dhoti. In fact, there's a famous meeting picture of him with the president of China, Xi Jinping, in Mahabalipuram, which is one of the world wonders. And there he's wearing the traditional South Indian veshti. And then when he comes to do the Prana Pratishtana of Ram Mandir in Ayodhya, he wears the traditional style of dhoti for that ceremony. So he understands, the importance of marketing, and that's why he's one of the world leaders with the most followers on social media.
Absolutely, Sugant. And how could you forget about his trip to when he went there for that tigers? I'm forgetting the name. Bandipur. His trip to Bandipur. Oh my God, the way he was dressed up as somebody who's going to the jungle and those attires, and the next day the newspaper was floored with all his various appearances in two or three different attires. So you see, he's already at the top, yet he pays attention to these small details.
In
So
fact,
what does that
Aarti,
mean? What does that
sorry.
mean? So you may love him, you may hate him, but you cannot ignore him, because he takes that one small step. He doesn't leave even a single stone unturned to create the brand that he wants to create for himself and our own country. So personal branding is about story, creating a story around who you are, what do you bring on the table, what values do you believe in. And as Sugan said, that when he visits different states, he wears those clothes. Why? One, he's able to connect with the local people, connect from heart, because people feel, see, we human beings, we all want some familiarity, some similarity. We people are looking for some common factor, and that is why he nails that by wearing those clothes.
In fact, Aarti, I'd like to add one more thing. You mentioned that very suave and super professional CEO who still took your help. And like Mr. Modi or any such leader, another trait it is highlighting is their humility. They are humble enough to still take professional help and honor your expertise.
Absolutely. And uh, because the higher the position is, the more is the hunger for learning, and that is what makes these people reach the place they are, because they understand the importance of learning something new each day.
Very true. Very true.
So I think, Shomik, would you like to add something, or do you have any question?
Was typing something because I joined the program in between, and listening to your conversation, it just my went to a old interview of ex Australian cricketer Ian Chappell. He mentioned that when he and his brother Greg, they were on the verge of entering the Australian cricket or entering international cricket. They went to their grandfather for advice that what should we do. So their grandfather gave him a one-liner advice. He told them that when you are playing international cricket, from top to bottom, every inch you should look like a cricketer.
Absolutely. Thank
So
you so much
that's
for sharing this with us. And I think this conversation is it's revolving around only the appearance, but executive presence has two more aspects to it, which is the behavior and communication. We still
So
have to touch upon
the
B and
next pointer was that, Aarti. So how one surely one has to work inside to appear better, right? So that's the next thought I had in mind. So what do you think? What is the inner strength that one person should carry to have a presence like that?
perfect question for this time, Prem, and thank you for asking this. So we need to start working from within. So I help people develop their inner strengths first and then reflect it on the outside by working on A, appearance, B, behavior, and C, communication. A, B, and C of image management. But from where does it start? And we all must start from within. Now, let me ask you one thing, that if you have a low self esteem or if your confidence is not high, do you think you'll be able to communicate a particular thing to the other person in that tone or with that kind of assurance? And that is what people look for in leaders, that how self assured they are. So we all have our own insecurities. It's not that nobody is perfect in this world, and we all are learning each day. Yet, I would say that you must work on strengthening your inner image first. That means think about the person whom you want to become. Think about the person, what kind of qualities you want to portray. Now, even if you don't have those qualities today, start working on acquiring those qualities. See yourself having those qualities maybe in the next 1 year, and start taking those baby steps towards becoming the person you want to become. And then you see the magic happens. Because when you start taking this small step towards becoming the kind of image you want to portray, you start feeling it within, whether it is gaining confidence, whether it is imbibing knowledge about a particular subject, whether it is about creating an image of a subject matter expert. It all starts from within, and then it shows on the outside, in your mannerism, in the etiquette, in the way you treat people. So all your values, which build from within, they showcase on the outside by being who you are, by showing off as that person whom you feel within.
Awesome,
Right.
awesome
And
explanation,
one
Aarti.
thing I wanted to one thing I wanted to say is, you know, to build a successful brand and self-image, you need to have a good strategic plan. I actually have to sign off. I have a meeting coming up, but thanks everyone, and also possibly Aarti and I are teaming up in the near future to start a course on how Sanatana Dharma can be, strategic lessons from that can be applied in business. So thank you everyone.
Yeah.
Namaste.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, young man.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for joining
Thank
us. And all the very best to you for your future.
Because you're leaving behind a very good fragrance.
you.
Yes.
Sunil sir, you are saying something while
Yeah,
Sunil was.
Aarti, again, very well put. And I think it's so right that that means you're not a fake also. Then when you have that mindset inside and you really are portraying what you are inside, I will just add one more very favorite word, is balance. And in fact, a little expanded version of balance is band. If I like, love to use the word band. So a good band of conduct and inner conviction, that should be between humility and arrogance. You should not be too servile. You should not be subservient. At the same time, you should not be arrogant. So you should have dignity, and knowing, sometimes you have to put up a strong stand, and sometimes you have to maybe become even more compassionate and empathetic and humble to pick up someone who's in bad shape, who's probably not feeling good. So you should have that very good band of being compassionate and dignified, and that
Absolutely, Sunilji. And that brings us to the C part, which is communication. So, what you just said, that we need to communicate in an empathetic way, and we use the term as assertive communication should be the way to communicate. Sometimes people tend to become aggressive because the things are not happening the way they want, or because they have a high ambition. Especially as you grow in your professional ladder, try to imbibe more humility. If you think about our ex-president APJ Abdul Kalam, the
absolutely.
kind of person he was an epitome of humility. And how can you forget his signature hairstyle, the way he used to dress up? So remember one another. So there are three ingredients, which is appearance, behavior, and communication. And the fourth thing is combining all the three: consistency. That you should be able to portray yourself like this person, like yourself, consistently each day. And that creates the brand story or your brand image. And it would create magic only if it is real and authentic.
Great insights there, Aarti. I think we have Shiva who joined us. Shiv, if you want, you to go ahead with the question. Meanwhile, I have two comments also coming up from Anamika and Chinmay. So we'll take up after Shiv's question. Shiv, go ahead.
Good evening to all. I have just joined. I'm just listening the good words from everyone. So if any question arise, I'll surely ask you, sir.
Sure. Okay.
Thank
We have a limitation in terms of adding people here, so I would like to go make you offline and bring you. If there's a question, if you post it on the chat, I'll bring you back here. Shiv,
you. Okay.
right?
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I have question from Anamika, which is how to build a strong and influential personality, being a young executive and generative to a need for your opinion to be seeked. So that's the question I have from Anamika.
Yes, Ramika, first of all, welcome to the show. And I'm very excited that you are a young executive and you carry the responsibility of the whole youth. So when you are presenting yourself in the organization, remember, and another ingredient of executive presence is how you groom yourself. It's not only about dressing, how neat you are, how you take care of people's time, how do you value time. So we all, how many of you are wearing watch today? Show me. Are you wearing a watch?
Mm,
No, I am not.
not me. Me also not.
Yes, now that's what I want to say. That is the point where I want you all to pay attention to. These are the smaller details that we all need to follow. So we all have time in our cell phones, on our laptops, and that makes us sometimes forget about the watch.
Yeah.
I want to point this out that whatever outer uh, signals that you are giving are speaking something about your inner self. And sometimes these signals are so subtle that you yourself are not able to pick them up. अगर मैं अब आप लोगों से ये बोलूंगी तो आप मानोगे कि घड़ी सिर्फ समय नहीं बताती है, आपका दुनिया में कैसा समय चल रहा है ये भी बताती है.
आपका समय देख रहा है.
I take that pointer because one of my close friend, family, their a friend has become a family now because we've known each other for the last 20 years. And he was specific in buying an Omega. So he used to say, I used to say it's very expensive. He said, you wear the watch and you walk into a crowd, you will feel the difference.
Yes, and tell me now that every cell phone has tells us time and laptop tells us time. Then why are these big brands, brands are booming? To buy a Rolex, you have to have a booking for years.
Yes.
Correct, correct.
Why? I'm not only talking about these high-end watches, because the watch that you use or these brands, these so expensive brands. I'm not saying that only these brands reflect that you have achieved something in your life, not at all. But these brands are doing great because they communicate something about you. So even if you don't need a watch, wear a watch, not only to show off that the place where you are in your life, but also to showcase that you value time. So wearing a good quality watch signals indirectly that what, I value time.
Time.
So
Arti,
these are the subtle signals that these.
Arti, I didn't wear it because I didn't know Arti will ask me to show it. Number one here.
So that is what I'm saying.
But
You
Arti, you
understand?
remember the presentation I gave yesterday, a day before yesterday. You were there in that group. Then I wore my favorite. I mean, a special watch I keep only for such occasions. Although I was wearing a coat, and I mean, maybe very little of it might be visible. But you are absolutely right. I mean, it depends on the occasion and the forum.
And so you know what? Coming on LinkedIn Live with us is definitely an occasion to celebrate.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
We have another question which I'm bringing up on the screen. Yeah. I have been a techie. It has always been difficult to project that I am an executive image appearing of special functions. So that's from Chinmay.
Chinmay, I can so associate with it because my son himself is a techie. Well, now he is an executive. So now you were a techie, now you are an executive. So there were certain things which you used to do when you were in college. You are no more doing that because you have become a professional now. So whatever was needed in that stage of life. Let me ask all of you, including Chinmay.
Chinmay
Uh,
has another continuing question here, Aarti, so I brought it up there. So
yes.
being dressed humble can how can that reflect in your communication? So that
Yes,
also is
Chinmay.
another continuation question from her.
Yes, so I would just say that no need to be very showy or loud in the choice of clothes that you wear. Wear professional clothes. And professional clothes, when I say professional clothes, let me give you a secret out here that wear clothes with collars. So if you are wearing a shirt, remember our parents, our fathers used to go to office wearing a collared shirt
Yes.
all their life.
Yeah.
And our mothers used to wear round neck, fulo wale suit and saris because at that time they were not working. Whereas today, women wear power suits and they wear these third layer. I'm also wearing this third layer today, carrying this a lapel with me, or if not this, then a shirt with a collar. So a collar, just like a watch signifies that you value time, a collar signifies that you are a professional. So keep in mind these small things. So that by inculcating these in your professional attire, you would be able to communicate that you are mindful of how you carry yourself and how you are able to bring your competence on the table. Remember, Chinmaya, dress for the role you want to possess and not for your current role. Now, that is a secret I'm sharing with you. Dress for the role that you want to possess. Let me ask you, Chinmaya, one thing that if there's an important project and your manager wants to give that project to one person out of the four people available. Now, all these four people have the same experience, have the same skill set, and have the same certifications as far as education is concerned. Now, whom would he choose? Is Chinmay answering, or maybe
No,
anyone?
I am not hearing any this one with her. Let me recheck.
The person with the most positive attitude.
Absolutely. Somebody who seems to be enthusiastic, somebody who's
Enthusiastic.
carrying himself again in a neat and tidy and organized way. See,
Yeah.
if your appearance is not organized, if your dressing is not organized, if your expressions are not organized, if your desk is not organized, how would the manager trust you with an important project? If you cannot take care of yourself,
How can you?
if you cannot take care of your surroundings, then how would he trust you with this $1 million project? So
Absolutely.
everything about you is communicate something about your inner self. If you are looking well put together, yes, the one with the communication factor, yes, somebody who's able to communicate X factor. I thought C is for communication. So X factor, and what is this X factor? That is executive presence. That is how you carry yourself.
I think we are. There's one pointer that I want to ask. This will be the last question. We are overboard by 7 minutes already. Uh, any books or sources that you recommend for people to know more? That's one final question that I have from my side, and I will leave Vijay to summarize after your answer.
So there's the most famous book, and the name of the book itself is Executive Presence. And I want everybody, in fact, you can also get it's actually this book was the first book that was written by Sylvia N. Helblet, Hewlett. Executive Presence EP by Sylvia N. Havlett. And she's the one who coined this term executive presence. And now we use it extensively as leadership presence or as, sometimes close to personal branding or image management. However, this term was coined by Sylvia.
So I am putting it on the scroll. You see, that's the one, right? So yes,
Executive presence.
EP.
yeah, okay. I Thanks for that, Vijay. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Prem. Thank you, Aarti, for great insights. From this session, I have learned a lot. My three key takeaways are: dress how you want to be addressed. ABC is very important. Alignment of inner image is very important. It should align with our outer image as well. These are
And do
three.
not forget to wear the watch next time.
I
Definitely,
update.
Aarti,
I
I
Even
will
update.
on even on LinkedIn video.
Yes.
Next time
Wherever
when I come to
people
your
are
office, I will
watching,
definitely wear a watch.
no,
whenever
wherever you
people
are
are
on
watching
camera,
you.
I think Aarti is suggesting that you wear
To wear a
and
watch.
look nice.
Yeah,
That's
and
what
next
I
time
think.
I didn't get time right now. Next time I also wear a collared shirt.
You see, let me add on to this, Sunilji. High neck is also a kind of collar, and you are already wearing a coat, which again has lapels. So these lapels are also a kind of collars only. So
Oh,
you are
Thank
bang
you.
on, no
Thank
issues.
you so much.
And in fact, Shomik is also wearing though a sweatshirt. He's sitting at home, yet it has a collar just to, be a part of the whole crowd.
It's a semi-professional jacket.
Okay.
In fact, one question. Sorry, can I just say last one? And I am quite. Sometimes I also oscillate between wearing a tie or not wearing a tie. I mean, like Vijay and Prem are looking very good. In fact, I would say, and but like I don't know if I have to singly present something, then should I wear a tie or not? I sometimes go in a doubt.
Okay, so
What is the current dress
trend.
today?
So again, that will depend on the people whom you are going to address,
Correct.
who all will be present there. Think about the people who will be present there. If
Absolutely.
they are your managers, if they are people who are higher in authority than you, then think about how they carry themselves. Because you don't want to outshine your boss.
Yes,
Remember,
yes. Exactly,
never
exactly,
outshine your boss.
exactly. So that is, I think, one technique in NLP also. Mirroring what your target
Yes.
audience.
Yes, yes. We can just go on and on about, we
Yeah,
haven't even yet touched on the body language part, but we can always
yeah.
take it up some other time.
But awesome
Sure.
session. Thank you so much,
Sure.
Aarti. Very good.
Thank you. So I'm proud being mentee of Aarti. I recommend audience to reach out Aarti to elevate their imaging. Thank you, Aarti, being on our show. Thank you, Prem. Thank you, Somik ji. Thank you, Sunil ji. Thank
It's
you,
my
audience.
pleasure, sir. It's my
Yeah,
pleasure
one
Thank
being
you
here.
so
last
much.
and final thing that we wanted to tell the audience, we are running into the 50th event on 13th of February. We hosted 50 events jointly with me and Vijay. We had lovely audience. I've put that on the scroll there. Our 50th event is coming on the 13th of Feb. I would like people to join us and grace us on completing 50 events on LinkedIn Live.
Wonderful.
Thank you for that.
Sir, why the LinkedIn link? Just wanted to know. The LinkedIn link Aarti ma'am shared me was not working. It was completely showing that the meeting to be started by the host. Then ma'am
There
shared me
was a
this link.
small confusion that we had because
Okay,
we
okay,
had two events that were created, and
okay, okay.
one did not have the video, which we were not able to add this
Oh.
link.
So I
That's
thought
where
my
we
somehow my
changed it
LinkedIn
and
was not
reposted it
up to
again in
date.
all. Yeah, I updated it on all the posts in the morning again. So
Okay,
that's one, this one that we did, and we shared that. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, compliments and very good work done by you, Prem and Vijay. Please continue the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for joining us, Sunilji and Shomik,
It's my pleasure, ma'am. It's my pleasure. In
and great.
future, any such session where learning is just on the platter, please do let me know.
Sure,
Yeah.
Shomik. And I'm so happy that finally we are able to meet.
No, no,
Yes.
I'll definitely come to you.
Yes,
Absolutely.
looking
And also
forward.
wearing a watch. I will take care of that.
That is just one
Even if I
element.
don't carry my bag, I will wear a watch.
That is
With
just
this,
one
we'll
element. Remember, I'll be looking for many more elements which you guys
Obviously.
don't know.
So
So
आपको
I'll catch
आपसे
you
बार बार
anytime.
मिलूंगा. I'll meet you many times to get
Samit
myself
just
corrected.
Samit just asked her before and what all she's going to ask this time.
Okay.
So
okay.
thank you so much, Vijay.
Thank you.
Prem,
Thank you,
I
it
am
was
ma'am.
just
wonderful.
concluding the session. Thank you for being a wonderful audience.
Thank you,
Great
sir.
having you speakers on the call. While the speakers be online, so I am just ending the session here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Night.
Good night.